Mr. Anakom, you would agree this was much better than you, right? Okay. 30 years ago, around about this time, the Rivonia trialists had been released on the 15th of October. We were now getting ready to host a huge rally at the Soccer City Stadium on the 29th of October. But this year, 21st of August, would also have marked what would have been Kathy's 90th birthday. And we want to just play a very special clip for you where his first public address, well, second other than the press conference, at Soccer City. And we're just playing a short snippet of that, and then a very special clip that was done for us by Video Vision and Anand Singh, in which Kathy talks about just the core values and issues of sacrifice. And thereafter, now last year I got this wrong. You know, there was a difference between starters and entree. What you have on the table there is starters. After this item, there's an entree coming, and then there's still a main meal. So just don't consume all of it for now, because there's quite a bit still to come. But just watch Kathy and his first public address, the core sets of issues, but just the delivery of this address at Soccer City is something to savor. Can we get the clip now?
Comrades, in my last public speech in 1962, before a gathering of the University of Witwatersrand students, I showed them a handful of bones which I had brought back with me from the Auschwitz concentration camp. These bones were the remains of human beings, innocent human beings who had been gassed to death by Hitler for the simple fact that they were Jews or they were communists. And these bones were strewn on the streets of Auschwitz concentration camp. I brought back these bones to South Africa as a constant reminder to me and to my fellow South Africans of the evils of racialism, which dominates every aspect of South African life. Many years ago on Robben Island, I read a little poem by a lady by the name of Auntie Kroch. She was a 17-year-old girl doing her matric at Kronstadt High School. The poem impressed me very much, and I made a note of that poem. Now I'm only going to read 2 lines of the poem to you. She says, "Build me a land where skin color does not count, where no goat face." Now if you remember, goat face was the late Albert Herzog. Where no goat face in Parliament can keep things permanently for Trump. Where black and white, hand in hand, can bring peace and love in my land. Comrades, I want to end now on this question of minority rights by telling you of a little bit of my experience on Robben Island. On Robben Island, for 26 years, according to the racial categorization of the Population Registration Act, there were the so-called Africans, the so-called Indians, and the so-called coloreds. Now, the Indians and coloreds were always in a minority. But I want to tell you that not for a single day have we ever felt, we as coloreds or Indians, the necessity to preserve our separate identities as coloreds or Indians. And never for one moment have we ever felt threatened because we were living as a small minority among African people. There was no necessity for us to think of ourselves as Indians or coloreds or Africans. We were fellow human beings, fellow oppressed people, fellow prisoners who were jointly fighting the oppressors of this country. I want to say that we must build this country because Robben Island represents a microcosm of the whole of South Africa. And I want to say that as we united on Robben Island and faced the enemy there, so we must unite in the rest of South Africa and face our enemy here as a united, non-racial people. Only there will our victory be guaranteed. Amanla.
A number of us who were arrested in July 1963 had been underground, and unknown to us, the police had by that time found out about the hiding place, and they pounced on us and arrested us. From that word go, their message to us is, you are going to die. We met the lawyers for the first time, and they told us to prepare for the worst. The fear already starts the day of the arrest, because what we were arrested for already provided for the death sentence. So the fear starts there already. But in your isolation, that fear comes back. A whole passage was set aside just for 5 of us. There was a warder on duty day and night, so we couldn't talk to each other. We were in complete isolation. But then one day, while we were walking, so-called exercise, and they brought the other detainees with us, one of them mentioned to, or whispered to Governor Mbeki that Look Smart has been killed, tortured to death. So you have more sleepless nights, Is this what's going to happen to me? I can think back of the words of one of the Indian Congress leaders called Subhas Chandra Bose. And he said, if you want to enjoy the beauty of the dawn, you've got to live through the dark hours of the night. If you want to enjoy the beauty of the full-blown rose, you have to accept the thorns. I can't immediately remember others, but it went on and on in that vein. In other words, freedom to be achieved has to be fought for, there has to be sacrifices. Freedom you don't get on a platter. Nobody has given freedom on a platter to anybody. It has to be fought for. Freedom is a very powerful weapon, you can say. The thought of freedom can never ever be suppressed. So it happens in jail as well. They could handle us physically, they could do anything they like. They could not stop us from thinking. You can be locked up in your little cell, but your thoughts go well beyond the confines of those doors and grills.
Thanks, Anand. Thank you very much for this. But the first clip you actually see some hair on Murphy's head. And Cyril Ramaphosa has all of his hair in that clip as well. And that's the wonderful thing about it. But what we were also all of us told on that day, none of us were trained as security, but we all had to wear these dark glasses so you looked like you knew what you were doing. But none of us were trained in security work there. And you see Joe standing there with an umbrella. He knew nothing about security work other than standing with an umbrella. And yet we were given this task of protecting these people who had just come out from prison. The entrees will be served now, and as they do, the marimba band will also continue with their entertainment. Thank you very much. Hello. Before I get another reminder from the timekeepers here that we need to go back to the program, it doesn't mean you must stop eating. You carry on with the entree. I want to introduce a very special item now. These are young people from an area where we are setting up a Kathrada Foundation youth club, and we came upon them at a youth festival that we held to mark Kathy's 90th recently. But let me call on the manager of the Dinaledi Tsamino dance group from Finetown, Lawrence Matawela, to just tell you a bit more about these young people and the item that they're going to be performing for you. Lawrence?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lawrence Matawela, a member of Uniboys, also in Youth League of ANC. So I'm so glad and honored to be here today. The Naledi Tamino means stars of music. These ladies, they are young lions, sisterhood. When I see them, I feel like crying because they are good on what they do. So let me just not say much. I love to show you because they say actions speak louder than words. So they are traditional dancers. You'll enjoy what they do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I guarantee you there's nobody that goes to the Virgin Active that can match these young people here. With all your spinning and whatever, you'll never match this here. Dumisile Shabalala, our program manager for youth activism leadership, will now hand out a certificate of gratitude to these young people, young women here. Dumi? Thank you very much. Now we were grappling with how to tell you about the work that we actually do. Lots of people know that there is this foundation and they say, Shang, you guys, we know that you do good work, but we don't exactly know what is it that you do. Now in order for us to get some of that money out of your pockets tonight, we hope that this little clip will tell you a little bit more about why you should consider, before you leave tonight, to be a bit more generous. It took a lot of you know what I like about tonight is not a single person that we went to ask to sell, to buy a table. Nobody asked who's the keynote speaker. Nobody asked me what's the menu or what's the agenda. So we could very well have closed after starters and said thank you very much. The sad thing is that we did try to get the president here. We wrote to his office in May, no, before the May election. Something is definitely wrong in that office. Only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, did we finally get a letter saying that he wasn't going to be available, but that they couldn't find the correspondence before. We will make sure that after this banquet, we submit another application, maybe a year in advance. It might actually be honored. But we will not advertise any big name speaker. And simply because your support here is for the foundation, not for whoever is going to be making a major speech. And I think our chairperson is right. Tonight's not a night for big speeches. It's to show the talent of young people that we're trying to nurture in the society. So the next clip is really just a presentation of our work for the first 10 years. During the supper break, there will be other information that will be on screen that will tell you a bit more about what we do. So can we get the clip on the work of the foundation, please?
From the moment Uncle Kathy left Robben Island, he has shared his wisdom, the lessons he has learned, and the history of South Africa's liberation. And since the creation of the Kathrada Foundation, we have taken the responsibility of maintaining that legacy and finding new ways of telling these important stories. Over the last 10 years, we have built a detailed archive, gathering and preserving information about Uncle Kathy's life and our shared liberation history. This archive has also been a valuable resource that we have used to create a variety of content which helps us tell the history of South Africa's liberation and our young democracy. One of the most successful mediums has been books and booklets. Over the years, the foundation has produced and published dozens of pieces. Part of this has been our Lives of Courage project that has produced many booklets, with the most recent covering the life of Mari Tanzanga from her early struggle days to her life as an activist, unionist and beyond. We have also continued to innovate using modern multimedia to teach these lessons through video and graphics. Over the years, we have also compiled interviews with many struggle stalwarts, Mari Tanzanga, Uncle Isu, the Jasad brothers, and many others. To mark important historical events and figures, we have also held many memorials, vigils, birthdays, and other events. One of the events was marking the murder of Ahmed in police detention by honoring his life and sacrifice. And we won't stop now. As our young democracy grows, we will continue to document our history and ensure the next generation will have everything they need so they can learn from our past. Racism is a scourge that has continued to plague our country post-apartheid, and the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation has played a leading role in combating it. The foundation has maintained two roles in combating racism. The first is calling out, intervening, and resolving racist incidents. We have done this in a decisive manner. With malicious acts, we have made certain charges were brought against the offenders and shone a spotlight on the process to hold them accountable. We have advocated for harsh and effective measures to curb overt racism. We have considered rehabilitative processes, including facilitation and mass awareness. Our responses have always been designed with the ultimate goal: eradicating racism, bridging divides, and building social cohesion. We have also engaged with various sectors of society to implement policies that work to address systemic racism, which continues to entrench inequality in society. And we aren't slowing down. The Foundation is a founding member of the Anti-Racism Network of South Africa, which hosts an annual Anti-Racism Week. In addition, we are in the final test stage of a racism reporting app, which was piloted during Anti-Racism Week this year. We have also been involved in the process of developing the National Action Plan to combat racism. Uncle Kathy's life was dedicated to fighting injustice, and this is a central part of the legacy the Kathrada Foundation is continuing. While our primary mandate is fighting racism, we have not backed down from other social justice fights. In particular, we have supported the Palestinian cause for liberation against apartheid Israel. As part of this work, on Robben Island in 2013, we launched the global Free Marwan Barghouti and All Palestinian Political Prisoners campaign. Together with a range of solidarity organizations, we have also participated in various vigils, a solidarity fast, and demonstration in support of the Palestinian liberation struggle. Under the guidance of Uncle Kathy, the foundation also took an active role in fighting state capture. Uncle Kathy led the way for us when he wrote his open letter to then President Jacob Zuma. Uncle Kathy inspired many activists to come out and stand against corrupt presidents. He showed all of us that we owe our loyalty first and foremost to the Constitution and our country, and only thereafter to our political homes. And even in his passing, his work was not finished. During his funeral and memorials, his memory and principles acted as a rally cry for activists around the country to stand up and expand the fight against state capture. Together with Save South Africa, the foundation hosted the Conference for the Future of South Africa and in turn founded the Future of South Africa organization. Through this organization, the foundation has played a pivotal role in fighting state capture and is playing an ongoing role in entrenching constitutionalism. The youth are the future, and with this in mind, the foundation has placed a growing focus on our youth work. Our youth work began in earnest in 2011 with the youth festival we hosted. This event brought together more than 5,000 youth from across Johannesburg. Following this event and realizing the need for activism, development, and involvement in this space, the foundation launched its early youth leadership programs. Over the years, we have held a variety of camps, some of which have happened on Robben Island, at which the youth learn about liberation history, how to be activists, and socially just citizens. Youth have also been actively involved in many of our annual social responsibility initiatives, such as the Winter Warm. In the last Winter Warm we organized, more than 300 people partook, collecting, sorting, and distributing the clothing that was collected. Workshops have been a growing part of our youth development in the foundation. An example of this was earlier this year when we held the launch of our new activism workbook based on the life of Uncle Kathy. Going forward, the foundation is greatly expanding our youth work, with our first community youth clubs opening next year. These youth clubs will be bringing together groups of young people, developing them and providing infrastructure for them to become activists and agents of non-racialism in our communities. By 2029, Uncle Kathy's centenary year, as part of our centenary project, we plan to have opened 100 of these youth clubs all across the country. Through this ongoing work, the foundation will be keeping the legacy of Uncle Kathy alive by training the next generation of activists.
Evening, everybody. It's my great pleasure to introduce you to our next three speakers who will be bearing testimony to the value of the work of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. For our first speaker, when I was sitting there and watching the video of Uncle Kathy speaking, I was just thinking about how necessary it is, especially in our current disposition, to have a voice of strong leadership. And I think that in the absence, or when we find ourselves looking for a voice of leadership, so often it comes from people like Uncle Kathy. And we wouldn't be able to have captured those words and ideals and life of Uncle Kathy without the work of Mr. Anand Singh. He is the one who has produced the video that you watched, and a video which you'll all be receiving later on this evening. And I was thinking about it, and that's such an invaluable contribution to make, that memorializing of Uncle Kathy's life. But I think if Uncle Kathy were here, he would say that more valuable to him is Anand's friendship, which I'm told is less a friendship and more a relationship between a father and son. And so in that vein, and as a supporter of the foundation, I would like to call Mr. Anand Singh to present. Sorry, Sean is reminding me that the speakers only have 3 minutes, and we don't have like Oscar music to play, so I'll just come closer.
You know what? I think, Sean, you should let the youth speak.
No.
Okay, you go ahead. You know, I'm happy to give you my 3 minutes. Thank you so much. Sean, you know, you gave Derek a choice. You let a young person speak for him. You didn't give me that choice. So, you know, I have to rethink my relationship with you. Anyway, it's so great to be here and to celebrate Kathy at his 90 years and the amazing thing about him being out of prison and almost 30 years, and his time with us post-prison was just about the same amount of time that he spent in prison. So, you know, it tells you about the life that he, Madiba, and all the fellow prisoners spent, all these tremendous, a third of their lives in prison, and how much they lost. But I guess if you asked him, you know, he would always say, no, it wasn't time lost, it was actually very valuable for us. We spent time together. And they always see the positive side of what their lives were. But I think one thing that struck me today, watching the young people perform, speak, and Kathy always mentioned that the most significant thing that they missed while in prison was the youth, the young children, kids, babies, that they never had the ability to interact with. And that really, looking at the kids today and knowing who Kathy was, he would have loved this whole experience. I remember whether it was on the set of Sarafina or with our kids, that relationship was so special. And well done to you and your team in putting the young people at the forefront of this event tonight. Thank you. So, you know, I'm going to keep to my 2.5 or 2 minutes that I have left. And I think we can talk about Kathy. You see the videos, and I think we, as the people here tonight, many of whom knew Kathy very personally and very well, have all been very fortunate to have him in our midst, in our lives, and enrich our lives by it, by that relationship. For one, you know, we had spent time in many countries around the world, and I introduced him to my friends, I introduced him to people who, even today, with Kathy not being here, still talk about him. And, you know, from celebrities like Denzel Washington or Amitabh Bachchan, you know, they all loved him. And one of our friends, Sharon Gelman, said to me one time that the greatest gift that I ever gave to her was introducing her to Kathy. And I think for those of us that did know him, I think the greatest gift that we had was to be with him. And I think for those of you that did not know him, I think the legacy of what Ahmed Kathrada stood for and stands for through the foundation is something that you should commit yourself to getting to know more about, because it'll enrich your life. And I think the work they're doing is quite amazing. I think when I look at Madiba and I would mention Kathy, and you know, that smile comes to his face and he says, yes, how is Madala? They had this joke that he would call Kathy Madala and Madiba would call each other Madala. And you know, you could see that the special bond and respect that all of those leaders had for Kathy, and that was for one reason only, that he was unique in his selflessness, his honesty, his integrity, respect, and he would speak out against anything that he did not believe in. And that's what that relationship was all about. He could have gone off going to prison, but no, he said, I'm going with those guys. And that tells you a little bit about who he was. the last international trip he did was to Hungary, to Budapest. And I went with him, and we were there after, he was there after 60 years. In the 50s, he went there in the Communist Youth League to a conference, and he spent a year there. And we walked around in so many places, and it was such a remarkable journey and memory for me, walking around with him and him telling me about the experiences. And we found a person who knew all the people that he knew from that time. And sitting there at lunch and their interaction was quite remarkable. And all of these things are stories that are out there. So I really urge you to follow in the footsteps of Kathy, because I think if we could be a little bit like Kathy, we would be doing very well. I also would like to send the greetings of Sello Atang and the Nelson Mandela Foundation to all of you today. Sello said he would have been here, but he has a good excuse, and that is that it's his daughter's 18th birthday today. So, but he wishes everybody well. And I'd like to thank Derek and the trustees of the foundation for the excellent work that you all do, and to Sean and the team of the Kathrada Foundation. Keep up the good work. The talents and the work that you're doing with the youth and in non-racialism is so important, especially in our country today. So thank you all. And now the last point is, Sean said this is fundraising event. So I have donated a photograph which is signed by Madiba and signed by Bollywood celebrity Amitabh Bachchan. Now, there's one that hangs in Amitabh's house in Mumbai, and it's also signed by a whole bunch of Bollywood celebrities. We did a concert in Durban called Now or Never, and we had Hrithik Roshan, Shah Rukh Khan, they've all signed it, Karishma Kapoor, Kareena, Preeti Zinta, Rani Mukherjee. So bid aggressively, because if you don't bid high enough, I'm going to buy it back and take it home. So enjoy. And one other side bit. Today I spent 3 hours at the Apartheid Museum. And if you guys have not been there, you should go there. I went there at the opening, and I'd actually forgotten so much of it. And when you go there, you see Kathy and that pivotal role that he played, and the many descriptions of Kathy in different times of his life, and so many of the people that are here. I said to Murphy just now that he's there even, I think it was even before that shot at the stadium, and Ketso's there too, and a few others, so do go. It was quite a special experience having been back there. Sorry I took about a minute over. Thank you.
That sounds like Oscar's music, which they should have started playing a minute prior to that. I'd like to call our next speaker, who's Nompendulo Mkachwa. So Nompendulo is a friend of the foundation, and she's also currently a member of parliament. But she's been an activist for a number of years, and it's actually on the forefront of the Christmas Fall protests that Uncle Kathy met and engaged with her. And I think that's such a wonderful example of how Uncle Kathy's activism transcended even generational boundaries, and how he was so relevant always. And so, Nompendulo, we are so grateful that you are here, and we'd like to welcome you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really great to be here this evening, particularly because in the audience we have the former president of the WITS SRC, Shaira Kala, of which I took the baton from. She was in Oxford for some time doing her master's degree, and she's back, and I think her journey to Oxford was successful, so I think we can clap for her now. And I also have, we also have former Secretary General of the WITS SRC, Fasiha Hassan, who's now a member of the provincial legislature in the room. I think we can also give her an applause. I think from generation to generation, it's very important that you acknowledge your peers. The same way Ahmed Kathrada acknowledged his peers and the work they collectively did together. It's already been said that for me, my first encounter with Uncle Kathy, I don't know why my generation calls him Uncle Kathy, because I think to us he's probably Cool Kathy, Grandpa Kathy, that's the translation of that. But our first encounter with him was at the Fees Must Fall protests of 2015, where at the height of the protest, someone came to, Uncle Kathy's here, Uncle Kathy's here, and we ran, and we were just honored to have him there to bless and legitimize our struggle. And then we interacted with him again through the celebration or commemoration of the women's struggle when we visited the various graves in 2016. And we continue to be part of those visits to the various graves of women stalwarts of our movement. For me, the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is a safe space for activists like myself. It's a space where really you won't be judged on how well you know Marx or Lenin. You're judged on the purity of your heart. You're judged on how genuinely and how authentically you care about this country. It's a space where we can come and be critical about our country, but as Paulo Freire says, it's a space where you're not only critical, but in your criticism of our country, there's some sort of hope, and therefore he says critical hope, where you're so angry with the reality of where you're at right now, but you're not despondent, but rather inspired and encouraged to address the issues that your country is faced with head on. And every time I come here, or not here, as in here, but I come into the space of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, I'm inspired. It's a safe space for our families. I think many of us, when we do work of the AKF, we come with our families. My little sisters are very aware of the space. They love the workbook that we got on the day we commemorated the woman in the space. So it's also that space for some of us. My mom has been to events. So I know Fasia's parents are here. I know Shira is here with her partner. So it really is a safe space for activists. It's a space where you can come in with everybody and say, let us create a different narrative for our country. I spoke to kids yesterday afternoon, and I left them with this message. Okay, my message was like 20 minutes long, but a little bit of it said that I only have one citizenship. I don't have another country that I can call home. I don't have another country that registers my ID number as a citizen of that country. I only have South Africa. And it's up to us, through platforms like the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, for us to inculcate a culture of social connectedness within young people. We can't only teach them about the logistics or the technicalities of engineering in terms of how to build the road, because there are people who know how to build great roads. We are producing engineers, but the ethics of those engineers is something we need to question. It can't be that we're producing engineers who are so fixated with the amount of money and profit they're going to get out of that particular tender, as opposed to caring about how the longevity of that road. So the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is a platform that some of us can use to try and groom and harness the future of this country. And without being stopped by the program director, that is the message that I have to leave with everyone this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were hearing my footsteps behind you. Our next speaker is Mr. Stavros Nicolaou. So I have to tell you this story. I only recently started at the foundation. I think I was employed just over 2 months ago. And they sometimes don't give you the protocol on how things should be done. So you sort of gauge, they say, okay, phone Tuli Madansela. And then you're like, what? I need to phone Tuli Maransela. But then you know how you speak to Tuli Maransela. But with Stavros, they sort of just said, phone Stavros, and I was like, okay, this is Stavros, and I called him, I'm like, hey, Stavros, just spoke to him very casually, and it was the biggest joke in the office. Like, the other girls were like, how can you just call him Stavros? That's Mr. Nicolau, he's not your friend. But I felt that from your humility, Stavros, and Stavros is the conduit, I think, through which Aspen Pharmaceuticals has been a consistent supporter of the foundation for the past 7 years. He spoke at a seminar that we held recently, and even there, in his capacity as BUSA board member, he was consistently advocating for other people to support the foundation. And so we're really grateful for what you do and how you support us and how you advocate for others to do the same. And yeah, please be welcome.
Thank you, Program Director. Please call me Stavros, not Mr. Nicolau next time. Most appreciated your frankness and candor. Your chairman, Derek, hates formalities, so I'm going to skip all the protocol issues, Derek, and just say it's a great honor and a privilege to continue being part of the support that we give to this foundation and to participate in some of its activities. And I think particularly important work that gets done around the youth. And it's so refreshing to see our youth speaking here this evening. It's refreshing to hear that there are so many leaders of our youth amidst us this evening. And I think it's really a great tribute to the work that the foundation does. I'm supposed to give a birthday message, but I think the best birthday message I could give to the foundation, Shane, is for me to make an appeal to colleagues in corporate South Africa and each and every one of you that are here this evening and beyond to continue supporting, or if you haven't supported the foundation, to support it for the first time. It's certainly a worthwhile investment. And I'm saying this as a businessman, as a business person standing here this evening. I think the work that the foundation did at a very critical time in our country's history, where we were at a tipping point, you might argue that we still might be at a tipping point. I think we have made some ground in the last 18 months, but we certainly were in a precarious position. And were it not for the type of work and activities that the foundation and other movements, social activists, had they not done the work that they did at the time, and had they not timed it when they did, I don't think the public would have known the truth about how our country was being hollowed out, and the extent of that hollowing out. You might say again, well, what has that got to do with business? It has an immense amount to do with business. When we speak to, I work for a listed company, when you speak to analysts and investors, investor community, they want to see a democracy that works. They want social and political stability before they invest in our country. And I don't think we can underestimate, Shane, the role that you and your team played at that critical juncture in our country. And for that, I think you need to be applauded. And not only applauded, but I think you're certainly deserving of further support from each and every one of us. It's very difficult when your founder is no longer with or in our midst. It's very difficult to keep a foundation going. And I must say that you and your team are doing superb work. We look forward to continue working with you. We look forward to again creating a country that we can all be proud of, a country that condemns racism, xenophobia, sexism, and a country where we can all be proud to call ourselves South Africans, and a country that, once again, will return to the heights globally that is deserving of it. Your foundation plays a meaningful role in achieving that. Thank you very much. It's been a great honor again, and we will continue supporting you for years to come. Thanks very much.
The young woman who hijacked this last session is Kristen Abrams. Hopefully somebody who will stay with the foundation as soon as her kind of internship and this particular period of work with us is over. When you get that law degree and you, before you go into court, come and do that work at the foundation. We have a very special violinist, Daneo Matsepe. Started playing since the age of 9. Played at the Joburg Youth Orchestra, the Joburg Philharmonic, and the National Youth Orchestra. Today teaches at the Auckland Park Preparatory School, Kingsmead College, and the Joburg Youth Orchestra Company. And when we heard just some of her stuff, it was really mind-blowing. And I would like to give you the opportunity. Where is the... Oh, she's there. Okay, she's somewhere here. To take on. But before she does that, can I ask our board members, Zarina, as you sit there, we had forgotten to give just these tokens of appreciation to Stavros and to Nampenduro. And what this really is a replica of the Robben Island key. This key is one that we are told will actually work today. Don't go and try it. But it's our kind of gratitude for unlocking the work of this foundation. And when we give it to another special guest later, we hope that it will be used to actually do the locking up for those who deserve to be locked up. But for unlocking the foundation in its potential, Zarina, if we could ask you to, as you are at the bottom there, to hand this over with us some other stuff to Stavros and to Nampenduro. Can the violinist come onto stage? I think it will be easier for people. Daniel? And Danae will be back later on, but Dumi will just do the honors as well. One of the last recruits of Ahmed Kathrada to the board of the foundation was somebody that he had met, I think by chance, and got talking to him, found that there was some commonality, invited himself to the boardroom of this major corporate thereafter, and then said to us, go and recruit this chap to the board. And we went to Alexander Forbes, we met with Ed, gave him a full rundown of what the foundation was, and the next best thing, he joins the board of the foundation. And up until the time that Ed, you left Alexander Forbes, we were almost quarters there. Your boardroom, the conference center, was like almost second home to the foundation. So Ed was very happy moving between here and Singapore, doing his stuff at Da Vinci and other places. And then he volunteers for Transnet. And then he goes and volunteers for SARS. I don't know what's wrong with you. But because we have to hold you accountable at some point, and you might have to hold us accountable, Ed thought it important that he steps down from the foundation. So tonight we are here to say thank you as you come up for being a board member, but also for doing national service to fix up an institution that was completely broken in the state capture project. We are here to pledge our support to you today as you go ahead and clean up the mess that this country finds itself in through SARS. And it is for that reason that we accepted your resignation, because we know the burden and the huge responsibility that you carry. But it has been an honor and a privilege having you on the board. The sessions that you facilitated at Da Vinci for the foundation certainly got us to rethink what we needed to be doing to having better impact in this country. And I'm sure all of you, as you sit here, you're either very worried about the fact that SARS is going to be fixed up, so you're very worried about what might be coming your way, or you're very happy that Ed is going to be fixing it up to make sure that all the kind of crookery that has gone on will be a day of the past. So we just want to say thank you. There is a very small gift, which I think you will have to declare. But I thought it's important for you to say a few words to all of us as you take leave from the foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, the SARS Commissioner, Edward Kisvetter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I always thought that being on the Kathrada Foundation, one received more than what you gave. And, you know, one of the few moments, the saddest moments I have had as a board member, but also as a South African, was a few hours before Uncle Kathy passed away, when some of us were privileged to spend a few moments with him in the hospital. When I looked at him and he was drifting out, I felt such a sense of deep sadness that the one gift we could have given him for the sacrifice of his life, we denied him. And what was that gift? The gift to have known that the work of his life would bear fruit. And sadly, then, and it got worse And as we learn about the damage, the incalculable damage of state capture, the blatant fleecing, stealing, thieving by thugs, whether they were political office bearers, whether they were executives at state-owned enterprises or at organizations such as SARS, and the business people who sat on the other side of the table. They created government, they turned state-owned enterprises, and they turned organizations like SARS into crime scenes. And they stole monies that could have built schools and clinics and hospitals and toilets for children, safe toilets for children, because no child should place his life at risk simply by going to the loo. And this is the country that we sadly find ourselves in. And that was so sad for me to look at Uncle Kathy in those last few hours and to think we couldn't give him that gift. But there is still time. It's not too late. And so in honor of his life, each of us can do something in our own way. The foundation is one way that I believe we can continue to support to enable it to do the work that honors the life of Uncle Kathy, but also in many other ways. We've become a country that is at war with itself. We fight with each other instead of fighting for each other. My wife, who is not South African, who still doesn't understand why I took this job, and my children, who thinks that I should be retired, drink red wine and play Scrabble. There is no rational explanation for why one does what you do. And the only answer I tell them is we do this to continue to honor the work of people like Uncle Kathy and others like them. And we do it, and then she says to me, but why don't you move to Singapore? Why don't we go and stay in England? And I say to her, I know I have the privilege to do that, but some of us have to stay and continue to work for the millions of our brothers and sisters who can't. And so my closing message to you, first of all to Sean, to say you're not rid of me. If it's not a tax audit I'm going to do, I will come and have tea with you and stay friends and continue to support in other ways. But to those of you who are here, find it within yourself to ask no longer who is going to fix our country, but to get up and be part of those who can build and create the South Africa that our children deserve and that men and women like Uncle Kathy and others died for. Thank you.
Can I ask Prema, as one of the elders in the foundation, to hand over this key, which we hope will now not open doors, but which will shut them for many who deserve it. Prema Naidu, board member of the Kathrada Foundation. Okay. No, you can't come to the next board meeting for curry. Just stay away from us now. That's why we're doing this farewell public. The next dance item is very special because I think the fusion of cultures that you will now see is very rarely seen in South Africa. but I don't want to say too much about it. Jayspri Mopen from the Tribangi Dance Academy. Jayspri.
Thank you, Shan, for putting me on the spot. This is completely not prepared, but as performing artists, we are always trying to locate and define ourselves. And Tribangi Dance Theatre celebrates 30 years this year. And I've always, when we started the company, it was always to bring cultures together, to celebrate our similarities rather than our differences. And we also use dance as a tool against a backdrop of diaspora, migration, and xenophobia. We always believe, and we continue to believe, that we create work that is intelligible in content, unique in presentation, and challenging in its experimentation. And I think the dance must speak for itself. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
ka di mi ta ka jono.
Kopo ke a poposela ke mmamu hau ke a hauhela ha le mpona ke le tjena mpitseng thabo bakopi ba kwakwa ba ile ba koka mokoko e ile wa kokwa ke bakopi ba kwakwa ba kokola ke bakopi ba kwakwa ba ile ba koka mikoko e ile nya kokwa kwana kwa kwakwa ayai
and that was the Tribangi Dance Academy. When we started off, I said that today was a fundraising event, and we're going to now move into a bit of that. But let me just tell you quickly about where the foundation gets its money from. Aside from doing this annual fundraiser, we have people like, or organizations like Aspen and another one called Northern Sparks Refinery, who are really the main sponsors for tonight's event. But the foundation was fortunate in this current financial year to have received support from the Open Society Foundation, the Foundation for Human Rights, Millennium Trust, the Social Justice Initiative. But we really are able to continue our work because of a number of people, thanks Shara, because of a number of people who contribute to us through a monthly debit order system. And it is those individuals, many of whom are here tonight, that we express a huge debt of gratitude. You have been with us from day one, and many of you, despite the hardship, have in fact increased your monthly contributions. Then there are those who give us an annual donation without us having to go and ask. They make this thing on an annual basis. In-kind donations from Nashua, Reliance Insurance, Sherino Printers, MCA, and others here ensure that the day-to-day operations of the foundations, our operational costs are reduced through that kind of work. But the biggest contribution to the reduction in our cost are all the dozens of volunteers who pass through our doors every year, who come to give of their time, like tonight and at many other occasions. Then there's the board of the foundation, who do much more than just attend the quarterly board meetings of this foundation. And in the 11 years that it has now been in existence, this board has met 39 times and also has had 10 clean audits. The 11th one is about to come out now. We have been very grateful recipients from Yard Capital this year of a generous contribution. Then Elite Star Trading. This organization hosts an annual breakfast in December for their suppliers, and then in March or February, March, take a big group of them to Robben Island, and for that they make a huge contribution to the work of the foundation. So these are the people who help us raise almost 6 million a year to keep this foundation going. Obviously, with Kathy and Lalu not being around, the key fundraisers who were able to pick up a phone and really just phone and say, right, I'm not asking you to buy a table, I'm telling you you're taking a table, and just tell us when we're getting the money. It has become slightly less easy to do that. I'm learning the art. Some of you would have been recipients of that tonight, and hopefully next year we will get many more to do likewise. But for this, we have a magnificent auction coming up. Now, I am going to ask that the main course not be served until we finish the auction, because we do want to raise a significant amount of money here tonight. Just close the doors as well, please. At that one there, yeah, nobody leaves now. Let me call upon one of the facilitators for the auction, Abdul Jack Manak. Jack was born in Lens, a professional cricketer. He's got his green blazer for non-racial cricket. He says he's a TV and radio personality. And he shares the same birthday as Kathy. And Jack is passionate about youth. Jack Manak, can I call on you to please come and help kick off this auction? Over to you, Jack. Before Jack starts, let me also just thank the people who generously contributed the various items that are going to be auctioned here tonight, and I think he'll give you a bit more detail as to who they are. Thanks, Jack.
I greet you one and all with the universal greeting of peace. Blessings and mercy of God, Almighty God, be on you. I want to start by stirring your heart. Let me repeat that. I want to start by stirring your heart. Give of your wealth, give of your possessions, or give but a little. But the real giving is when you give of yourself. Uncle Kathy was one such person. He gave selflessly, leaving a legacy, not a CV. I want to start by saying thank you. You could be anywhere tonight, but you chose to be with us here tonight, sharing your Saturday night with us here at the Sandton Convention Center. I can assure you from my side, like you sharing your time and coming here, myself and my co-host are going to give our best. We're going to entertain you. We're going to have fun. And yes, we want you to participate. We appeal to you to be interactive with us, engage with us, and participate with us. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I said it was interactive, and I didn't get a response. So let me start again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to ask you, when I greeted you, what did you notice about me? Did you notice anything, anyone? Anyone here? What did you notice? Anyone, did you notice anything on my face? Anything? Did you notice anything? A smile, absolutely, yes. For the person, here's a smile, here's a bowl. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be on him, said, when you smile, it's like giving charity. So how many of you here want to start by smiling and giving charity? Let me see by a show of hands. Let me see, I'm not seeing a show of hands here, and here's the man, thank you, here's something for you for a show of hands. So what I want to do to start, as I said, it is interactive. I want you to look at the person on the right and the left, and give him the most awesome smile and say, you have a beautiful smile. You know a smile makes you happy. You know the smile? Your smile makes you happy. It is a universal language of kindness. And yes, your smile can go a mile. And your smile can change the world. Ladies, you all look beautiful. But if you wear your smile with you wherever you go, it is the best makeup you can ever wear. So let me call upon, with me, my co-host, Brother Asif Leher. He is my fellow co-host. He's a lens boy, an insurance broker, a sports administrator. When I started playing cricket, he was one of my mentors and coaches. Also at King Edward, as a chairman, and at All Ads, he was part of the soccer and cricket teams. Welcome, Asif Leher.
Thank you, Jack. Jack, that was quite an impressive opening. Jack's a great guy, but he has one weakness. He looks down upon people. Few shortcomings, not very many shortcomings, but hopefully he'll improve on that.
Absolutely, Asif. Thank you, Asif, for that.
This whole purpose is about the money. And the money is standing in the way of my supper. And as a recovering anorexic, I have to eat on time. So let's get the money in, let's dig deeply into our pockets, and let's get this sorted out. Our first auction item, Jack will introduce to you. Jack?
So, we'd like to make a very humble appeal to you to support us, to open your hearts, to open your wallets, to give generously, and yes, to be part of funding these projects so that the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation can be proactive. And I want you to know that all proceeds will go towards projects of the foundation. What are the projects, you may ask? You may have heard earlier. One is to promote history, creating awareness of and recognizing people of the past who had made a huge difference in the struggle. It is also the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, the voice of the country, combat racism, and yes, developing the youth. So the first auction item is one, just before we start the auction, you will notice a white paper, a catalogue on your table. Do you notice it? So as if our job is quite easy today. All we have to do is get people to pick up the white paper. And if you pick up the white paper, you are in the auction. How cool is that? So let me see the paper. If there's a white paper on your table, some of us, can we pick it up? That's the paper as soon as, so you are part of the auction.
Considering Jack's a cricketer, the first lift's a try ball. After that, the bids count.
Absolutely. So all you have to do is lift the piece of paper, and it has the catalogue of all the items. I also want to tell you that on your tables, there's just one, if there's an objection by any lady on the table, the husbands or the partners that are there, pick up the paper. Allow them to bid. So don't be shy, allow them to bid. We're here for mainly, it's not a good deal. Today is about a good deed. And you can be part of doing this good deed for the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. It is a remarkable organization. Every rand raised tonight goes towards these amazing projects. The first of the auction catalogue, as you will notice, is the Madiba portrait by Mr. Y. Damaso. Asif will tell us a little bit more of this portrait.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is quite a special portrait. Yul Damaso is a local artist that looks like Salvador Dali. So there's something to look forward to. One of his portraits went for 450,000. So the reserve bid of 60,000 for this portrait that was donated by Ketso Gordon is a very small amount. And to draw on your inner strengths and draw on your generosity, please bid for this. Let's start with an opening bid of 60,000 rand. I see my friends here, so I'm not going to burden them with them immediately, but let's get something going. Let's start off with a 60,000 bid.
I see some hands there at the back, Asif.
Do we get a 60,000? Do you see anything? I thought this was supposed to be interactive. Come on, guys, let's get proactive.
You know, just one thing about the item, it has been featured. The artist has in different hotels all around the world, one in Dubai, in Zambia, and also all around the world. And one is known for controversy. One of the things he painted was most offensive. It was called, and it was banned, is also banned in US. So he's a very controversial painter, but definitely a remarkable painter who has been featured in Los Angeles Times, New York Times, BBC, and CNN. So can we have an opening bid? Who's going to start? Who's going to be the first person to make a contribution?
There,
Thank
we've
you,
got
sir.
60,000
we have someone
over
here.
there.
And we're away.
60,000.
60,000 rands. Do we have someone counteracting to that? 60,000 rands. Do we have 65? We're looking for 65.
The whole point of an auction is to have bids. Come on, people. Let's get a second bid. 65, somebody.
65,000, 65,000. We got 60,000 here. I'm going to go on the floor, Asif.
Please do.
I'm just going to look for some people here. So we got 60,000 here by this gentleman. Thank you so much, sir. We're looking for 65,000, 65,000. Anyone 65,000? Thank you. We've got 65. We got 65. Thank you, sir. 65. 70,000, 70,000 we're looking for. 75,000. 70,000. Thank you, sir.
There we got 70,000. We've got 70,000.
I like the competitiveness on this table, Asif. 70,000. Sir, do we have 75?
We can't let him get away with it. Come on, let's get a 75.
Do we have 75?
75
yes, sir, we have
it is.
75. Let's, guys, let me tell you. You know when someone bid, let's give them a round of applause. 75,000 rands. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Sir, do we have, is there anyone else who want to participate? 75,000 rands. I'm looking for anyone else.
We can't let table 11 dominate. Come on, let the other tables come.
As if I got 80,000 rands on this table. Table number
Table
11.
11's the number.
Table 11, 85,000, 80,000, 85,000, sir. 80,000 going.
80,000.
80,000. As if I leave it to you now. 80,000.
Yeah. Considering this is a sort of a pseudo-political event, and number 11 represents the left wing in football, that says something. Eh? So we're sitting on 80,000 rand. Anybody want to better that? We can't let table 11 dominate.
Going
Okay,
at the first time,
going
Asif,
once.
going for the first time.
Going twice. Going for the third time to the gentleman on table 11.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for contributing and playing a role. Thank you, sir. You know, when you make a difference, I want you just to inspire the people out here and say, you know, that I want you to share, you know, what inspired you so others can be inspired.
Oh my God, you've caught me unawares. So let me say that I'm keeping what I bought tonight for about a year, and it'll come back into either this or another auction next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And, you know, it's that kind of difference when you make, it makes an impact. And I'm sure many of you are inspired by that. As if we're ready for the next item?
Yes, we're ready for the next one. This item, I think Anand Singh gave us quite a rundown on. And I mean, this one as well, 60,000 is the reserve price. And Anand's already committed to buy this, but I mean, we can't just let him take it away. Let's give him some competition.
It's just some history on Anand, one of South Africa's top producers, over 80 films, responsible for the most profound anti-apartheid film called Serafina, and also Cry the Beloved Country. As if on the frame itself, you will notice.
Yeah, we've got some big celebrities there. Amitabh Bachchan, Kareena Kapoor, Karishma Kapoor, Rani Mukherjee, Preeti Zinta, Shilpa Shetty, Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan, and Shushmita Sen.
And also, there's also signatures, and you can see a picture of Madiba and Amita. And this happened in 2002 when Amita was in South Africa for the Now and Never live show. So can we start, Asif?
Yeah, the first bid we need, it's now or never. 60,000 rands the opening bid. Rashid, you look like you're moving a bit there.
So we're looking for 60,000. And we've got someone on the table here at the bottom. I just want to run here. We're on table. You have two ladies on the table. Table 38. Asif, we table 38.
Table 38.
60,000
60,000 we've got.
38. We're looking for 70,000. 70,000 now, table 38, 60,000. We're looking for 70,000. Can we see someone?
70,000. We're holding up dinner, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
As you can see the frame, a beautiful portrait, a beautiful frame of Amitabh Bachchan, Madiba, the signatures of both. We're looking for 70,000. Can we see 70,000? Looking for 70,000. As if I'm looking at the same level, maybe from on top you can see the hands going up.
No, they're all going, they're tightly held, eh?
They're all tightly held.
But if we don't get a bid, we're going to take this back to Mr. Singh.
What about this table? Yes, sir. Anyone here on this table or on this side? Anyone on my right-hand side? Who's going to bid on the right-hand side? Two ladies on the table, just two ladies on the table are outbidding us.
Mr. Kieswetter, the SARS officers are going to be very sterile. You're going to be very busy with a lot of serious things. Maybe this will brighten up the room a little bit. But I suppose you're going to have to declare it, eh?
We're looking for 70,000. We've got the two ladies at the back, 60,000. Anyone at 70,000? 70,000? Going once, Asif?
Going once, Mr. Singh? Going twice? Sold to the ladies on table 38.
You know, it's the table where all the tables, there's as many ladies, and just to, you want to share your name and share what inspired you to buy this beautiful frame?
I am bidding to give to the cause, and it's something very special to hang into the office.
You know, that's an inspiration to all of us. And I hope all of us, from now as we only got 5 items. So 2 are down. So we appeal to you to bid towards the cause and make an impact like that lady has. Thank you so much.
I must make a comment. Earlier, our MC Nishan Bolton spoke about the young ladies putting up this tremendous performance and challenge anybody if they did anything more at Virgin Active. I disagree with him. I normally do much, much more than that. When I'm sitting at Kauai ordering my food, my imagination runs wild. These girls get nothing on it. Jack, are you ready with the next one?
No, I have a small little, you know, I think people are not so interactive here. And as I came on stage earlier, I was giving gifts. So I have 2 beautiful crowns here. And who would like this crown? Yes. I see ladies here in front. There's a lady at the back. So you have to qualify for this. I'm looking for 2 ladies, the youngest in the house and the oldest in the house. So who is the youngest in the house? Who's the youngest person in the house? What's your age?
10.
Is there anyone younger than 10? Anyone younger than 10? Oh, we have someone here. You're someone younger. On which table? Which table? Oh, here's a table. How old is this table?
7.
7 years. Anyone younger than 7? Oh, here's another table here. Oh. Here's a young baby. And how old is this baby, Mom?
2.
2 years old. Younger than 2. Is anyone younger than 2? You know what? The last time when I was at an event, there was someone said 8 months. I says, what do you mean? I don't see the baby. They says, no, it is the baby. So is anyone pregnant and can get a crown in advance? So I have a 2-year-old girl. What is your beautiful daughter's name?
Safura.
Yes, Safura. She's our young crown. Thank you so much, Safura. So I've got one more crown. So I've just lost my breath there, Asif. Yeah, I think now we'll go back to, we'll come back later to the other crown, to the queen of the Kathrada Day today.
I think the oldest lady is going to be a bit difficult to find. Best of luck, Jack.
As if people do things for a crown, but just, on the next item, it's a beautiful coffee table item. It's sponsored by the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. And what's unique about this, it has the signature of Madiba. Also forwarded by Kofi Annan, and the introduction is written by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. So this is a unique piece. Asif, what price are we starting at?
We've got a reserve price of 100,000 Rand. Now we must appreciate that this is a serious book, and we've got Madiba's signed autograph in it, and Uncle Kathy as well. So this is something very special, donated from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. So I think 100,000 Rand should be the minimum. So can we start with the first bit of 100,000 Rand?
We're looking for 100,000 Rands to start. 100,000 Rands with Madiba's signature, a beautiful book, 100,000 Rands. Is there anyone who's going to start the bid? 100,000. We have someone on the side. Anyone here?
That's just a little bit more than $6,000. So that's not a lot of money.
We're looking for 100,000, 100,000. We're looking for the book 100,000. Anyone who's going to be proactive like the 2 ladies and table 11? We're looking for 100,000. 100,000, Asif?
Yeah, everybody's gone very quiet. Maybe we should up it to 120.
I think maybe the fee is too low. Maybe 120, Asif. You know what's unique about this?
The last auction, Sean is just telling me now, the last auction, it went for 120,000. Considering inflation, load shedding, Rand-dollar exchange, I don't think 125 is unreasonable.
Asif, you've gone up, or we're on 100 or 120? I got lost here in the process.
Silence sometimes is consent, so we're just moving the price up. I'm sure SARS will give them a letter of tax clearance on it. I'm sure we can do that. This is really something special, and I'm quite surprised that nobody's bidding. I thought we'd have a first frenzy here with the bidding. Looks like we're going to have to go back to 100,000. Jack?
Yes, 100. Are we looking at 100,000? Is anyone on my right-hand side? So everyone here on my right-hand side, anyone wants to start the bid? 100,000. We're looking at 100,000, 100,000.
Shall we start calling out names?
I think that's a good idea, Asif.
There's a gentleman shaking his head. And considering his Indian...
we have someone, Asif. We have someone. Let's go with the book here. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. That's phenomenal. 100,000. Thank you, sir. 100,000. Table 14. Table 14, 100,000. We have the book at 100,000. It's table 14.
One of the people was nodding with me, nodding
So you
at
just
me.
said something. I like what he said. I'm happy with what he said. You just want to share what you said.
No, I said I'm not going more than that. So.
I'm not asking for more because I know Asif was going. I'm staying here at 100,000. I'm going nowhere. Is there anyone else who want me to shift? Is there anyone else who's going to make a contribution to this worthy cause?
It went for 120 at the last auction. I think we must try and beat that one. One of the gentlemen was nodding his head this way. I just want to remind him, as an Indian, that's yes, eh?
And it's Savi at 100,000. Anyone else? 100,000. Is there anyone else who want to compete at the same price at 100,000? I think we've got 2 books, Asif.
Okay, I think the gentleman deserves it. Going once, going twice. Earlier you spoke about the smile. He's got the smile. 100,000 plus the smile gone. To the gentleman over there.
Mr. Siva, Savi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tell us, to open your heart to this organization. It means a lot to the organization. You are helping with the youth, helping promoting so many things and so many projects. Thank you, sir. We truly appreciate it. What inspired you to do this?
Look, I believe in the work that the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is doing. My company, Macrocom, believes that the youth are the future, and investing in the fourth industrial revolution is where we work at. And the only way we can make a difference to this country is supporting youth. And the work that the Kathrada Foundation does with youth is really important to me.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Asif, I'm not done. Just to let you know that some of the projects the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation do, they have this 10-year program where every year they're going to empower 10 groups of kids, young learners, and you are part of that process. So thank you so much. Thank you for your organization. Let's give him another round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're 2 items away from supper.
And I must tell you, I'm looking so forward to the last item. It's my soccer team. It's a team called Liverpool. And now I can look down at everyone else because we are still on the top.
The next item, we have a reserve of 30,000. Jack, are you going to give us a bit of a rundown on that?
I will do, Asif. It's also another coffee table book. It's a book by Ahmed Kathrada. What's unique about this book? It has 300 trips to Robben Island, where Ahmed Kathrada, it has signatures of Ahmed Kathrada, Uncle Lalu, Uncle Chiba. And also, in the 300 trips, what's unique, many of us have been to Robben Island. It has captured most of the people on the book, from Beyonce to Samuel Jackson, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Danny Clover, Morgan Freeman, Stevie Wonder. So it's captured most of them in pictures, and that's quite unique. So this is a beautiful piece of collection. And how much is it going for, Asif?
We got this one down at a rock bottom price for 30,000 reserve.
We're starting at 30,000.
With the book, you get the signatures. I'm sounding like a very mark advert. With the signatures, you get the pictures. With the pictures, you get Uncle Kathy's signature. So this is something very unique. There's some amazing photos in there. There's even a photo of Fidel Castro in there. 30,000 we got.
I see Katie Holmes, a picture of Katie Holmes. We got 30,000. Where's 30,000?
30,000.
Yes, sir.
The gentleman in the red shirt.
30,000. We have 40,000, sir. 40,000. Yo, we got 40,000 in this table. Yo, we got 50,000.
50,000.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Table 11. Table 11.
Asif, can we just do that whole thing over?
Table 11, what happened to that other 70,000?
I was feeling it, guys. I like these 2 tables. Table 11 versus table 19. 55,000, sir.
Table 11, let's get 60.
55.
Let's get 60.
Come on. Wait,
yeah,
sir, wait, Asif, wait.
We got 60.
60, sir. What he just did to you, do to him. Come on. Do to him, come on.
65
we got here, sir. Who's it going to be? Table 11 or table 19?
We got a yes from the gentleman in the red shirt.
75, sir. Thank you so much. 75. He said I must talk on his behalf. Red means stop. I thought he said talk. 75 we have ourselves, sir. 80,000, sir. 80,000, guys. What you said? Give you 30 seconds to think. You want to have a team talk? I can give you a team talk. You can have. I'll give you a few minutes. Asif, let's give him a few minutes, guys. Can we just while we do this?
We're sitting on 75.
We're sitting on 75. Asif, wait. You know they want just a few minutes, so you can talk to a friend, phone a friend, and while you're doing all of that, I'm gonna give this crown. I like the 75,000. So while we are waiting at 75,000, who is the oldest person in the house? I am looking for the oldest lady in the house. This is from CDO, UMS, and so who is the oldest lady? Give me ages. Who's the oldest person in the house? Give me an age. I'm looking for the oldest lady in the house.
Table 11, forget the crown. Give us 80.
Give me an age. Yes, ma'am? Anyone want to give an age?
Yeah. Jack, I think it's about non-disclosure. Let's get back to the 80,000.
Who's the oldest woman?
I think Martin Zanga.
Where's mine Zanga? Here's mine Zanga. I'm not even gonna, ladies and ages like me and my age, I must say. Oh, definitely, Ma. Oh, you're so cute. Mashallah, so nice, Ma. Tell me, here's a beautiful crown for you. What is your name?
Rita Nzanga.
Rita Nzanga. What message do you have for people who are here? What message do you have for people here today to participate, and what inspired you to be here today?
Not to forget those who were sentenced for our liberation, and not to forget that as women, we have done a lot of work up to now, that whether you are black or white or colored, but we have done a lot of work to come to where we are now today.
When you speak like that, ma'am, you are the crown. You are my queen today.
Okay, back to table number 18. Oh, is
Thank
it table
you, ma'am.
19? We're sitting on 75. Table 11. The smile's not going to pay the bills. Give us 85,
Well,
80, 85.
just wait. While we are here, I got an idea. So we were 75 years, sir. Where we were 75?
75 on table 19.
Table 19, 75, sir. 75. Anyone else, anywhere else want to participate in this 75? I got a solution. 75, sir. I got a solution, sir. I got a solution. As if I got a solution. Can I just...
Please give us the
Bolton,
solution.
can I just do my own thing here?
Long as you get more money.
Okay, so, sir, we have 2 books. Can we do 75, 75, and we give you both the books, and we have